Okay, getting this stream started. So let's see. I am not super prepared for this week. I didn't think too much about what this stream was going to end up being. So I thought we just I don't know, play it by ear, see what's going on. Maybe I could dive into some Excali draw or something and go from there. I'm gonna go ahead and get a new window in place. Let's see what this looks like. Let me rearrange this a little bit. There we go. Cool. A little bit smaller. There we go. Okay. Yeah, got an Excali draw. Let's see. Last month we ended up talking about exec.dev, which was pretty neat stuff. I wonder if we could look at maybe there's some like current events or something. Maybe there's some current events or something from there that we could go with. But yeah. Well, let's see. We'll wait around for see if any other folks end up showing up, and then go from there. Cool. Well, for the uninitiated, I am Nathan Toups. I'm the co-host of Book Overflow, and I am also the founder and creator of Robato. That's what this is. This is called Debug Mode, which is just time for me to do office hours related to platform engineering related work. So maybe we can just pick a topic and go from there. Maybe, you know what? Maybe we'll ask Claude. Give me a topic for debug mode to cover in so give me a topic in debug mode that I can cover in office hours, something I can cover in Excali draw. Okay, well, let's see. You know what? Actually, we'll do this. One of the things I wanted to bring up was something I just wrote about, and yeah, I'll do it here. So, my latest blog post, I call it Filling Up the Tank. I said, every Sunday I fill up the gas tank in our little Suzuki Vitara. I learned this from Tom Limoncelli in Time Management for Systems Administrators. It doesn't matter if it's a quarter empty or a quarter full. I just top it off. And this is something that I think I read this book. It probably was 15 years ago. This book came out. Yeah, unfortunately, it doesn't tell me when I bought it. I might have bought it at a bookstore. Well, this book originally was published in 2005, but I think I bought it in like 2010. And I found this really useful and valuable. Actually, Tom Limoncelli is pretty cool. He hasn't posted in a while, but he's like the sys administrator. He has a bunch of great stuff he'd written. He was a SRE at Google, sysadmin and SRE at Google. He was at Stack Overflow for a long time too, and just really beautifully wrote about a lot of the things that we worked on. There's another really good book that came out later called The Practice of Cloud Systems Administration. And the way that he just approaches things was great. This book for time management was literally on the fact that, we get pulled 15 different directions all the time, and that things will slip through the cracks and we'll end up being incompetent for what we're doing. And just a bunch of tactical things on like how to do things better. But one of the crazy little examples was filling up your tank of gas on Sunday. And I like this idea of these rituals, of these responsibilities that we have to get things done. And it's super powerful because I remember I just used to do this all the time where nickel and diming my time and saying, okay, well, I'm gonna, I need to fill up gas, or I'm busy, or I'm doing these other things. And I would get, some part of the week and realize I'm like below a quarter of a tank, or maybe even getting to empty sometimes, just because I was distracted and busy and I'll do it next time. And if you just you fill up your tank of gas on Sunday without fail. I don't care if you put half a gallon in it or if you're at a quarter of a tank left. If you do it every Sunday, you start your week off with a full tank of gas. And it seems so obvious in hindsight, but it's just something I've done. It's a ritual I've done for many years now. I think I've been doing this every Sunday for the last like 15 years. And I've never regretted it. It's just really easy. It's just part of my weekly responsibilities. Not saying sometimes if we use more gasoline, I get more during the week, and you can still have, sort of responsive event-based piece to this. But, and if that was happening all the time, I would probably do a cadence where I say, fill up the tank on Sunday and fill up the tank on Wednesday when we do grocery shopping or whatever, and just put it on a cadence. And then you don't have to think about it. And then you just know I get gasoline at this cadence. The car always has fuel. I live in Central America, so this becomes even more important. We haven't had supply chain issues, but years ago when we lived here, every once in a while the gas, the place that the gas station wouldn't get fuel. Like sometimes it would just be like, oh, they're out of fuel for the next like 3 days, and that's the last thing you want to find out happens when you are on a empty tank of gas, right? Like empty tank of gas plus external reality makes things way worse. This is like Murphy's Law kicking in. And so if you just do this on a regular cadence, right? So we know we have these like responsibilities. I think a good example of this, maybe we can draw it this way. So this is getting gas, right? So I could do this in a way that, of course, I could do this on a cadence, right? So maybe this cadence is, so I can do this like on an event-based. So I could say, when less than quarter of a tank, and then we'll do this. We'll say get gas, right? So there we go. So get gas, and so I could say, when less than quarter of a tank, get gas, Let's see, we'll make use car. And we'll have check fuel level. Right, so we'll see if. So we have use car. I'll change my arrows. There we go. Use car, check fuel level. Well, actually, you know what we'll say is less than quarter of a tank. And so if yes would be here, yes, and then no, we go back to using car, right? Like that. So, I mean, that's like a really basic get gas, and then we go back to using car, right? And so that's like a really basic loop that we have. And, you know, this is sort of event-based. So I just drive, I can check the levels if it's less than a quarter of a tank. The only problem is that life ends up getting in the way, right? So I would say if it's less than quarter of a tank, and then I would say, are you busy? And so this is the problem that would happen, right? Is that you say, is it less than that? We go here. Are you busy? Then I would say yes. Right? Like that. And then I would say no. And you can see where this is a problem, right? Like especially if you're doing this, is, I would say is not ideal, but life gets crazy. And so are you busy? And then you're like, okay, well that actually doesn't work because like I could get in a really, really bad shape. So it says, are you busy? And then I say, then I would say is below 1/8 of a tank. And you can see where this is going, right? This becomes like the procrastinator's dilemma. Is that we end up doing this. Are you busy? Yes. Does it become to 1/8 of a tank? And then I say, are you very busy? And so yeah, you can see this graph, just these exceptions keep coming. Are you busy? Yeah, no. Is it 1/8 of a tank? Yes. Are you busy? And then I would do the same thing. I would say no. Are you very busy? No. Then I get gas. Right. And so then you end up getting to, is it less than empty? Is it equal to empty? Actually, I'll do this. Are you busy? No. Yes. Okay. And then here we go. Are you very busy? And I'll say no. Guess. Okay. So yeah. So as you can see, this is like a crazy. Don't do this, right? This is just like a crazy procrastinator's view on the world. And what you can do instead is cut this entire thing out by just saying, is it Sunday? Right? So I say, is it Sunday? And yes, right? And then no. Right? So that's basically this little behavior change completely changes. So if I make this little behavior change cuts out a tremendous amount of complexity. What you get is all I have to do is say, is it Sunday? Yes, get gas. Then I go use my car, right? No, then I just go use my car. And then if I use my car during the week, I say check the fuel level. If it's less than a quarter of a tank, yes. If it's not less than a quarter tank, I keep driving my car. Yes. Okay, and actually, you know what? Let's do this. Let's say check day of week, right? And so if you incorporate this in, you end up getting this. Is it Sunday? And this just becomes your pattern here. check day of the week. Is it Sunday? And then yes. And then there we go. And so if I take this and this, let's change these back to white. Let's change this back to there. Okay. So yeah. You basically do, if you do this and you say check day of the week, is it Sunday? Yes. Get gas. Then might use my car, right? This becomes really simple because all of this other stuff goes away. I don't ever get down to this is empty because I don't drive that much, right? And so what happens is that all of this chaos that's in my life goes away. And I end up doing something like this. I actually end up getting back to, you know what, instead of deleting all this, let's just make a new one. So instead of having this chaos, you end up, my real week looks like this. I basically say, is it less than half a tank? And then I get rid of all this because I don't, number one, I don't worry about being busy anymore. And if it less than half a tank, otherwise, I do this. And this doesn't happen very often. Like this event here is rare because most of the time I'm doing this. Check the day of the week. Is it Sunday? Yes. Get gas. Use the car. And so, and then, you know, while I'm driving, I check the fuel level. Is it less than half a tank? No, just keep using my car. Actually, you know what? It goes back to this though. Check day of the week. So yeah, right? And so this becomes the flow. That's it. All the chaos is gone from my life. And honestly, you know, on a normal week, I literally just get fuel here. I just get fuel on Sundays and I don't even think about it anymore. And this just becomes a really simple thing. This, I have to think about gas all the time, right? There's this cognitive load that sits here. And I go, okay, oh man, if I run out of gas, I'm going to have to walk to the gas station, right? Like we don't want to get to this situation. And sure, if I structured my day on an event-based thing and just say, you know what, each morning I'll check and see and go get gas if that's the case. But for me, life just doesn't work like this. On Sunday, I have a pretty chill day. And this becomes really, really basic, right? Is it Sunday? I get gas. I use my car. And I do check a little bit, but because of this, this rarely happens. And I'll go ahead and just refill it opportunistically. But even if I don't, I'll just know that Sunday I'll go get more gas. It's not a big deal, right? Really, really, really straightforward. So yeah, I don't know. That's something I've been thinking about. It uses, you know, again, this gets back to this time management piece, which is there are things in our lives, especially when it comes to platform engineering or DevOps or SRE, that we should really just schedule, right? Sometimes it's nice to think about alerts and, you know, event-based things and all this kind of cool stuff. But really what I want a lot of times is a cadence. A cadence is, you know, I run a cron on some regular cadence. I just make sure that it works the way it's supposed to. This, again, takes so much off your shoulders. You don't have to get fancy and think about event-based things. You really just go in and say, you know what? I'm going to go review my notes for the week and update my weekly update log on Friday in the last 2 hours of the day before I finish my week while everything's still fresh. And so maybe I kept a daily log of the work that I've done, or maybe even, you know, kind of got a little chaotic and didn't do the best job. I take that time on Friday and I sit down and just make sure that I've gathered up my notes for the week, right? Then I don't have to get to the quarterly review and go back and search through a bunch of stuff and go, oh my God, what did I do over the last quarter? It's like, no, I have a cadence where I do my daily log. On Friday, I clean that up into a weekly log. And then at the end of the month, maybe I clean up that into a monthly log. And then when I get to my quarterly review, I've got this like beautiful, structured, refined log system that's in place. And yeah, so it's just sort of the big takeaway there. Yeah, so I guess that's the main thing I wanted to talk about. And, you know, I guess I'll bring this up to questions if anybody has any questions for me. Otherwise, I might close this out a little bit early today because I don't know. I think that felt like that was a really good primary topic, and there's no reason I have to go the full hour if it doesn't make a lot of sense. So anyway, I'll give folks an opportunity to chime in. Otherwise, we'll end our office hours. Cool. Well, I hope you found that useful. I hope that was interesting, and I appreciate you taking time out of your day to join along with me. And man, maybe you start getting gas on Sundays, and maybe you start thinking about stuff that comes from it. So anyway, this is Nathan with Debug Mode and signing off.